In today's video, I'm going to tell you the one thing that is keeping you from growing your woodworking business. Let's get started. All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, I am your host, Zach Vaught, and quick synopsis on my story. I started a woodworking business, really struggled in my garage, started learning business principles, how to market, how to sell, how to build a great product and great brand, scaled that woodworking business to a commercial space with 7 employees, over $900,000 a year in revenue, sold that business for multiple 6 figures, and I'm here to help you on your journey growing your woodworking business. And so if you are looking for business principles to help, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That's what we do here. And so the one thing that is keeping you from growing your woodworking business is this: identifying your bottleneck and aggressively solving it. It's the one thing. Every business is really made up of 5 little things, okay? Number 1 is lead acquisition. Am I getting enough leads? For 90% of you guys, this is your problem. You're not getting enough leads. Maybe if you're brand new and you just started, you don't have enough of a developed product or product line to even get leads because your product isn't out there enough. That may be part of the issue. But number 1 is lead acquisition. We got to get leads into the business. What is a lead? A lead is just a person that's interested in your product or your service. So we got to get more and more eyeballs on your business, on your products, on your goods and services, okay? That is a huge problem for most people in our industry, for woodworkers, okay? So the second big problem is lead nurture, which is like, how do I follow up with these people on a consistent basis? How do I keep track of who I've talked to? How do I make sure that they didn't ask me for information and I dropped the ball, I didn't get back to them? Lead nurture is a huge component inside of every business that most people totally forget about. So lead acquisition, lead nurture. The third one is sales. What is the simplified process that I have created to take a lead that's just interested to a customer, convert them from a potential customer to a customer? That is the sales process. And so that is actually where all the magic happens. That's where we're actually getting payments from people. Most people have a super clunky sales process. Oh, well, yeah, I'll get you a quote over the next couple days, or I'll get you a quote tomorrow. So they're way too slow to get quotes out. And then from there, it's like, oh, well, let me get this invoice typed up and I'll get it sent over to you. We want to simplify and streamline getting a quote, collecting cash. One of the things that we say inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program all the time is this phrase, speed to money. We want to get to the money as quickly as we can without it being weird, obviously, where we're like, hey, give me your money. We don't want to do that, but we want to simplify and streamline and cut down the time from where we get a verbal commitment from a customer that they want to buy to when we're actually collecting the payment. Okay, we want to get that as quickly as possible. AKA, like, awesome. Are you going to be paying with a card, or would you like to pay with Venmo or cash or a check? What would you like to do? Okay, well, I'll pay with Venmo. Awesome. Here's my Venmo. If you'll go ahead and send it over to me right now, I'll send you a copy of your invoice. Right? We want to move quickly collecting money. Okay, so lead acquisition, lead nurture, sales. Number 4 is fulfillment. Can I actually build this stuff? Can I build it quickly and efficiently? Most of the time, this is not the bottleneck for most people. Most people struggle with lead acquisition, lead nurture, and sales. Most people don't have enough opportunity to sell to grow their business. Once you solve that problem, then fulfillment becomes the issue. Once we've got a bunch of leads, we're getting a bunch of sales, then it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all this work done? From there, you need systems and processes and employees to help you fulfill at a greater rate without sacrificing quality. That's where everybody goes wrong, is they start moving really quick and their quality goes to crap, or they never learn how to move quickly and their lead times just grow so much that their lead times now affect their sales. Where it's like, okay, I'm 16 weeks out or 18 weeks out. Well, nobody wants to buy something and have to wait for 4.5 or 5 months for it, right? So fulfillment is huge, but typically it's not the problem that you're facing right at the beginning. Then number 5 is customer retention and customer success. Customer retention and customer success. How do I get them to keep coming back and buying more? How do I get them to make sure that they had an incredible experience, they had a successful experience, so that they're leaving me great reviews and they're referring their friends and their family to me? The problem is you have not identified your bottleneck, and here's the big problem, is that you're not actively, aggressively trying to solve it. If you recognized that lead acquisition was your problem, let's say that you're not getting enough leads in your business, and let's say that you spent $10,000, which is a lot of money, to solve this lead acquisition problem. And overnight, after you spent 10 grand, you had more leads than you knew what to do with. You had so many leads, you couldn't hardly keep up with them. You had so many people that were interested in your product and your services, you were accidentally selling. Well, if you're selling high ticket, expensive goods, like we do in the woodworking and custom furniture industry, you would only need a couple yeses to completely liquidate the $10,000 that you spent. But where we fail and where we make the mistakes, we don't have 10 grand and we view $10,000 as an astronomical amount of money to spend to solve this problem. But what you don't understand is by not solving this problem, you are limiting your income for an infinite amount of time. And if you would spend the money 30, 60, 90 days from now, you'd be making way more money, right? This is where we think small and we play small. And so when I say aggressively attacking, aggressively solving your bottleneck, we have to find a way to get past this so that we can continue to scale. I use this example all the time, but imagine with me for a moment, you've got like a whiskey or a wine barrel, and it's got all the slats that are running up. It's got the two metal bands at the top and the bottom. Well, if you have one of those slats that is cut in half, that now becomes the threshold for how much I can hold. That becomes the threshold for how much wine or whiskey can live in that barrel without it running out the side. And that's what all of us have in some way. I have that in my own business too, is we have a slat that is lower than the rest. And if we don't aggressively solve that, we're capped at 50% of what we're capable of. And that is happening to you right now inside of your woodworking business. Whether it's lead acquisition, lead nurture, or sales, most likely it's one of those three things that's keeping you from really scaling or growing your woodworking business. And what's really crazy about this, guys, can I just tell you, is that as soon as you solve that problem, you start scaling, like immediately. We have guys inside of our program, the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. They come in and we're like, what are your goals? Well, in a couple years, I'd like to be in a commercial space. And it's like 90 days later, we've solved the lead problem for them. And they're getting a ton of leads and we're teaching them how to sell. And they start selling and they start getting sales. And they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have the space to do all that. I need to get it into a commercial space. When in their mind, they thought, well, it's reasonable that 2 years from now, we'd be moving into a commercial space. It's like, no, 90 days later or 6 months later, you can be making big moves inside of your business because you solved the bottleneck aggressively. Okay, so I say that just to say you're not as far away from success as you think you are. You just need to be aggressive in solving the bottleneck. And as I'm talking right now, you know what that is. You know what your bottleneck is. Maybe it's you don't have enough time, you don't have enough energy, you need employees, you need systems, you need leverage, right? Maybe it's that you don't have enough leads. You need to start running paid ads and getting leads, or getting aggressive with organic methods of getting leads. We do both inside of our program. And so the one thing that's keeping you from scaling your business is identifying your bottleneck and solving it aggressively. So if this is helpful to you, please let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear where you're at in your business. I try to respond to as many comments as I can. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, this is the place to learn business principles to help you grow your woodworking business. We don't build stuff on this channel. There's 1,000 other channels out there teaching you all of those principles, and they're awesome. We're focusing on the business side of things with actual business principles to help you scale and help you grow. So couple resources for you. Number one is the free Handmade Business Secrets ebook. It's completely free to you. It's about 95 pages long, a book that I wrote that really outlines my journey from starting in my garage to scaling my woodworking business to selling it, and how you can do the exact same thing. Okay, so that's completely free to you. We've had over 4,000 people read that book. Go check it out. And then after that, I've got the Handmade Hero Academy program. If you're brand new, trying to get started, trying to learn some more business principles in detail, that's a low cost investment to get in the game. And so one sale, one high ticket product that you sell as a result of what you learn inside of that program is going to pay for itself. Last thing I got to tell you about is the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. That is our flagship program. We have over 55 clients all across the world now inside of that program, and they are growing and scaling woodworking businesses like wildfire. And there's no reason that you couldn't be the next guy or next gal in that program doing the same thing. So if you're serious, you're really ready to go to 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 per month or more, be sure to check that out, where we're going to be partnering with you and helping you grow. So with that being said, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.